So yesterday evening, 2-3 karikas we read. The opponent asking, how can the birth of these objects be compared to Maya? And he says, just as from a magical seed comes out a sprout of that very nature, which is neither permanent nor destructible, so too is the reasoning applicable in respect of objects. Reasoning applicable in respect of objects. In the case of all birthless entities, the terms permanent and non-permanent can have no application. Where words fail to describe, no entity can be spoken of in a discriminative manner, because na varna yatra varna na vartante. By speech, you cannot explain what is Atman. That's why he says, where words fail to describe, no entity can be spoken of in a discriminative manner. In a discriminative manner, this is so, this is eternal, this is non-eternal, like this, with a proof you cannot talk, or you cannot tell about the Atman. As in the dream consciousness, he is giving two logics. As in dream, consciousness vibrates through illusion, as though dual by nature, so in the waking state, consciousness vibrates through illusion, as though possessed of dual appearance. This is the first logic. The dream consciousness vibrates through illusion, as though by nature it is dual. There, the seer and the seen, consciousness and the objects are there. Two things are there. So he says dual. So in the waking state, consciousness vibrates through illusion. So, as though possessed of dual appearance, the perceiver and the perceived, that is simply says, due to illusion, again and again he says illusion, 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 Maya, Maya, Maya. The thing is, because of that, say ignorance, or Maya, or illusion, or delusion, whatever you may call, we are not able to see the oneness. Oneness, one consciousness everywhere, in everybody, in everything. Always we see the objects. I am seeing, I am doing, I am doing, I am seeing. From the morning till the evening, till you go to bed. So, he says, but the man of perfection, the wise person who has experienced this self, he sees everywhere only self. And everything acts accordingly. As he is seeing the self, so everything acts accordingly. For this, previously we gave the illustration of Sant Jnaneswar. Remember? I told the story of Sant Jnaneswar. is a great saint, just say some 12 years old or even less, and because his caste was not decided, the Pandits, they were not willing to give him any ritual authority. You should have a tuft and have a sacred thread. Then only you can do rituals. So, because his caste was not decided, all the scholars joined together. They were not giving him the authority. Then he argues, because he was a saint, he knows everything. See, Atman alone is real, everything is unreal. Why you are getting attached to this unreal body? Something he says. Oh, Jnaneshwar. Bodies are unreal? Yes. Then he says, if it is so, when you are having such a strong belief that Atman alone is real, so everything should be Atman alone. So, can this buffalo chant Vedas? The opponents ask. He says, yes. And he just blesses that buffalo and he started chanting Vedas. You cannot imagine seeing the oneness. Then, so they have to initiate him. And in the same connection, I told another incident with regards to Sant Jnaneshwar. Another saint was there, Changadev. By that time, I think he is already 1400 years old, or even little more or less, but 1300 or 50 or 1400. So let us take the average 1400. So he was a Hatha Yogi. He was a Hatha Yogi. So he wanted to see Sant Jnaneshwar. And he wanted to write a letter to him. Then he could not decide whether I am elder or he is elder in age. So what to write? See, for younger people we say, blessed boy, blessed children. For elders, we give prostrations and start the letter. My prostrations to you. But he could not decide, so he simply sends a white paper to Sant Jnaneshwar, because he could not start, right? And Jnaneshwar understood. Anyhow, he just is coming to meet him, and Jnaneshwar had elder brother, had younger brother, and a younger sister. So, 4 they are. The 4 were sitting. The 4 were sitting early in the morning and they were brushing their teeth. It is on a wall they were sitting, and by that time early morning the Changdev was coming on a tiger. He was coming on a tiger because he is having so many powers and he thinks he is very great. From that side, this Jnaneshwar saw.
I also felt, but I thought it may be here in this.
So, Now it is all right. Om. Changdev was coming from that side on a tiger, sitting on a tiger. So, he is having powers. He can control anything. He is a great yogi. But Jnaneshwar is still a bigger yogi. So, they were all four were sitting on a wall. So, simply he says, Chal, go. Then the wall started moving in the air. All were sitting on that. Then Changdev, oh, I am sitting on a tiger, he is coming on a wall, and that thing, that is moving. So simply he gets down and he prostrates. And then afterwards, the youngest was Muktabai. Of the four, three brothers, youngest is Muktabai, and she is only 7 years old. And Changdev was 1400 years old. So, Muktabai initiates Changdev. You can understand the power of spirituality, the oneness. So, those who can see the consciousness alone and alone, what? You change the direction of that, you change to that side. Only one is there. So you change the direction, 3, you change the direction. The vibration is there, what can be done? So the consciousness, one who sees, they can do wonders. Like that, Hanuman did so many things. Now, the present context, hearing through mic, don't take it into heart. I'm telling. When Swami Vivekananda arrived after his Western tour, everybody was respecting him. And the kings, they have removed the horses and they were pulling the cart. So much. But in those days, mic was not there. And the big gathering was there in Chennai. So what they did, they made the Swamiji to sit on that horse cart. Just it is a dome, you see. And above the cart, he was sitting or rather standing. Thousands of people are there, and with a loud voice he started. Everybody could hear. But nowadays we are not having so much immunity or strength with us. Just I remembered, that's why I'm telling. So they used to tell, bell-metalled voice of an young monk, they used to say. So if you ring the bell, it goes to such a distance. In the same way, Swamiji's voice they used to call bell-metalled voice. So that is the here, one who sees consciousness. There can be no doubt that the non-dual consciousness alone appears in dream as the dual. Again he is telling, there can be no doubt that the non-dual consciousness alone appears in dream as the dual. Consciousness is non-dual, as though it appears. Similarly, in the waking state too, the non-dual consciousness appears as the dual undoubtedly. So, the consciousness alone is there. A small illustration. There was a couple, father and mother, and so that was mango season. In India, mango season. They brought, because they are two, they brought two mangoes. And suddenly, from somewhere, from the other village, sun has arrived. The sun. So the mother was little disturbed. Then the son asked, "Mother, why you are disturbed?" "See, dear son, this is mango season. So we brought, thinking we are two mangoes we brought. But now you have come, how to distribute? 2 to 3. Mother, you don't worry. I am a science graduate. I can make 2 into 3. Oh, this is very good. I am science graduate. Then it is 1, 2. 1 plus 2 is equal to 3. See, I made 3. Then the mother, she knows good Vedanta. She used to attend satsang. So he says, "Dear boy, you are very intelligent. You know so much of science. So 1 I will eat, 1 your father will eat, the third one which you have prepared, that you eat." So, we should be practical. What I mean to say is, we should be practical. Why I am telling you this one is, at times we think, now early morning, it is this time for meditation, to do japa, to do parayana. We think, you see, now it is time is over, so let me postpone that. Postponing, you will forget and you will not do. So, whatever spiritual practice you wanted to do, you should finish and then only you should get up. Don't postpone anything, especially the spiritual practices. The moment you postpone, it will be off your mind. And you won't get time, you forget. That is why Swami Shivanji says, before going to bed, just discriminate what is done, what was postponed, what I could not do, what are the harsh words that I have spoken, and others. All these things you should do vichara or think over the things, then only you can have the progress. Another thing, you should be very careful. When you are in the society, nobody is going to tell your faults. Remember, you should be able to know your own faults. What is lacking in me? Why I am not able to progress? Nobody will tell you. See, you have done this is wrong. Who is going to tell you? Nobody. Yeah, and 24 hours, somebody cannot watch you. So, in spiritual atmosphere, or they say, we should always live among swamis or monks or sadhus. Then what will happen? If somebody sees a fault, they will let you know. Then you can correct yourself. That's why, if you wanted to have a spiritual progress, the saints say, you should keep such a man with you who always finds fault with you. That is the only way for your correction.
निंदक नियरे राखिए.
Nindak neere rakhe. Kabir Das used to tell. Who is blaming you, keep him by side. So, he is a broomstick for you. He is broomstick. That is his washing. He is cleaning all your this thing. And we know the great saint Bhartrihari. We know. And I think his mama, what is his name? Chand? Huh? Gopi Chand. Yes. So, Gopi Chand was the uncle, hai na? He was the uncle of Bhartrihari. Gopi Chand was the uncle for Bhartrihari. And he was also a monk, like Bhartrihari. Bhartrihari, as a king, he left, but his monk also, his uncle also left the home. His uncle's father also left home. So when Gopi Chand wanted to leave the house, then the mother gives 3 instructions. See? 3 instructions she gives. You stay always in a fort. Fort, F-O-R-T, fort. Stay always in a fort. And eat the best food. And sleep on the best bed. That is, just like a king, having all the facilities, he is sleeping in his bedroom with all the facilities, like that. And best food available, he should take. See, Gopi Chand says, Mother, I want to renounce, and you are telling these things. I don't understand. Then she says, what is a fort? No, the fort is you should always live with monks. That is the fort for you. They will tell what you are doing, what you are not doing, what is correct. Immediately they will tell. Our 11th pontiff, just in sitting, if I put like this, immediately he scolds.
Swami also has been many times
Oh.
to many people. I don't want to point out, but Swamiji watches everyone and he corrects.
That means you should not be lazy. And then, what is the second one? Eat best food. Then she says, dear son, if you are hungry, then only you should take food. That it will be the best food which you enjoy. And what is the best bed? She says, be always in sadhana. Meditate and do discrimination. And while meditating, when you get proper sleep, then only you should sleep. Not before that. Oh, time is over, I want to sleep. No. Then, even if you sleep on the rock, she says, even if you sleep on a rock, it will be the best bed. Because you are tired, mind is tired, you will get very good sleep. So, for monks, it is better to stay that their ego will not come out. If they stay alone, nobody to control them. Who will tell what is wrong, what is right? So, these are all some of the instructions. Whoever finds fault with you, you should keep near you, so that he works like a broomstick. He cleans all your bad impressions. So, if somebody is telling something, you should not take seriously. Simply think, it is for good, it is for my good. It is only because of the vibration of the mind that the pure consciousness, which is non-dual, becomes an object of speech. It is because of the vibration of the mind, the pure consciousness, which is non-dual, becomes an object of speech. But in reality, it is not so. These two verses have already been explained, Vaid Karika 29 and 30 in the third chapter. These two verses above, it says, they have already been explained. Now he is asking, for this following reason, duality which is expressible by words does not exist. The duality which you are expressing through speech is not there. He says, itasya vaggocharasya abhavodvaitasya swapnadrik pracharan swapne dikshuvai dasashustitan andajan svedajan vapi jivan pashyati yan sada. Swapnadrik, one who sees the dream, and he moves here and there. In the dream, he says he is moving in 10 directions. Only 8 directions are there. Where from the 10 have come? 4 directions and 4 corners, 8 directions. 10 means one is above, one is below. So altogether it becomes 10. 8 plus 2, 10. So in the dream, he will be moving in 10 directions. And moving in 10 directions, he sees so many things, andajan, svedajan vapi, that which have come out of the egg, or which has come out of the sweat. How so many things you will be seeing, jivan, that which are with life, sada, always. So a dreamer sees so many living beings in all the 10 directions, always. The dreamer, as he wanders in the dreamland, always sees the creatures born from eggs or from moisture or as existing in all the 10 directions. Then, he who sees dreams, as he wanders about in the place seen in dream, he always sees the creatures, either born from egg or from moisture, as existing in all the 10 directions. Then what? He says, Yadi evam tatha kim? If it be so, what follows? That is being explained. If a dreamer sees in all the 10 directions so many things, what is of it? Then he says, Swapnadrak chitra drisyaste navidyante tatha pruthak. Tatha tad drishyameva idam swapnadrak chittam ishyate. The who is the dreamer, swapnadrak chitta drisyaste, that is, the consciousness of the dreamer appears so, and it is not different from the consciousness of the dreamer. Whatever he is seeing only the consciousness. Because of its vibration, he sees. Tatha drishyamevidam swapnadrak chittamishyate. So, there are no two things. It is only the dreamer's consciousness. Those creatures perceptible to the consciousness of the dreamer have no existence apart from his consciousness. Dreamer is changing into the so many objects. He is creating himself and he is feeling himself everything. So also this consciousness of the dreamer is admitted to be the object of perception to that dreamer alone. So for the dreamer, the objects of perception, he sees, the objects that he sees are admitted, he says, to that dreamer alone, not to all. So by this, What he wanted to tell, he says, as in dream consciousness vibrates through illusion as though dual by nature, so in the waking state the consciousness vibrates through illusion as though possessed of dual appearance. As it is vibrating in the dream, so it vibrates in the waking state. That is why objects are not there. It is only delusion. That he wanted to prove. Then he told, the opponent is asking, already you have refuted that the waking state is not there in the second chapter, Vaitatya Prakarana. Why ever again you are repeating? That means he says, first, in the second chapter, we told that everything is illusion. That Vaitatyam, because of illusion, you are seeing the duality. But here, we wanted to tell that where there we have proved that the world which you are seeing is only illusion. That much we told there. Here we are, again we have taken the topic to prove only consciousness alone is there. That world's reality, here proving the consciousness. That's why we have taken the topic again. Besides consciousness, nothing is there. This is the second reason. First reason, that everything is illusion. Second reason, why we are repeating is that we wanted to prove only consciousness alone is there. Besides that, nothing is there. Whatever the dreamer sees, those things are not there, separate from him. That is the connection of these slokas. And then, they are not there. Whatever objects he sees in the dream, they are not there. So also in the conscious state. If the duality is only appearance, if it be so, what is of it? That opponent asks, all right, you told that a dreamer is there and he is seeing the object. So consciousness and the objects are there. That we do agree. By this, what you want to tell? If it be so, what follows? This is being explained. He says, the consciousness of the seed of dream, these creatures perceptible to that consciousness do not exist apart from the consciousness of the dreamer. All the things that he is seeing are not different from his consciousness. This is the meaning. The consciousness alone imagines creatures in many different forms. So also, this consciousness of the dreamer is merely an object of perception to that dreamer. Again, he is telling, this consciousness of the dreamer is merely an object of perception to the dreamer. So consciousness is vibrating, that's why he is seeing the duality. Hence, the idea is that there is nothing like consciousness apart from the dreamer. So, whatever the objects he is seeing, it is not different from the consciousness. That he has proved. Now he has asked a question. All right, if duality is there, what is of it? He says, here we should not take the The subcommentator says, here we should not take karmadare samasa. Yesterday, I have explained Rameshwaram. Ramascha asau Ishvara Rameshwara. Who is Rama? He is Shiva. Who is Shiva? He is Rama. Two things are there. So, here when we are explaining, don't accept two things, consciousness and the objects. The objects are not different from the consciousness. You should understand like this. That's why the subcommentator says, no karmadara samasa here. What we see in the dream is not separate from the consciousness. So, he says, then you have accepted the seer and the seen. So, the opponent is asking, what you say in the dream, the things are not separate from the consciousness. So you have accepted the things and the consciousness duality has come. Drashta chittam. Drashta chittam. Drashta is the seer and that consciousness has become the objects. So two things are there. He says, not so. Here he says, only the seer is there. The objects are not different from him in the dream. Why? It's not there. As soon as he wakes up, nothing is there. So, here also, in the waking state, I am seeing the pot, but I am not a pot. There I have seen so many things in the dream. They are in me only. They are not there. But here, in the waking state, we cannot all of a sudden conclude that I am the seer, what is seen is unreal. This we cannot conclude all of a sudden. That is why again and again he is giving the illustration. The dream state of the dreamer is the object of the seer. You have to understand little. He says, the dream state of the dreamer is the object of the seer. So, as you ask, two things are not there. We don't accept only one thing. The object is not different from the seer. In the dream, dreamer alone is real. The consciousness alone is real. It has vibrated and you have seen the... Now only rope is there, no snake. In the same way in the dream, only the dreamer is there are no objects. You can very easily conclude. In the same way, in the waking state also, only the seer is there, what is seen it is not there. So, the equation is equal in dream state as well as in waking state. Then only, now what he told, you see, you have already explained about illusion. Why again you are taking? Then he says, there are no two things. There we told the world is illusory. Here you are telling, here we are telling only consciousness alone is there. No world also. No worldly illusion also. Only one. Then only you can conclude the non-duality. If world is not there, then who is seeing, you ask? Who is seeing that the world is not there? Some seer should be there. And he must have seen. And according to the logic, if a thing is not here, it must be somewhere. Again he will come with his logic. So we are telling, world is not there at all. Not as a thing or not a abhava. That is a non-thing. Or it is not a substance, or it is not the absence of a substance. So then only consciousness alone is there. Through logic, he has proved as the observer of the dream and the objects are not there. They are only one. So in the waking state, only the consciousness is there. The consciousness of the seer of dream, these creatures perceptible to that consciousness do not exist apart from the consciousness of the dreamer. They are not existing apart from the consciousness of the dreamer. This is the meaning. The consciousness alone imagines creatures in many different forms. So also, this consciousness of the dreamer is merely an object of perception to that dreamer. Hence, the idea is that there is nothing like consciousness apart from the dreamer. What the consciousness? Objects which you see. The objects as consciousness. So, dreamer is drashta, seer. Besides him, nothing is there what is seen. That he has concluded. There it is, you see, very easy to understand in the dream. If the magician is there, magic is there. The magician is not there, where from the magic will come? It cannot be there. So we say, magician alone is real. The magic what he has shown is not real. In the same way, here, the dreamer, the seer, the drashta is alone real, that is the consciousness. What he has dreamt, what he has seen in the dream is not there. Besides him. This you should understand. What he has seen in the dream is not different from him. If he is different, now there what he told, the dream is unreal. That means a dreamer is there, a dream is there. Now that duality he is removing here. The dream objects are not different from the dreamer. So that's why again he has taken up the topic. We should understand their logic. If a thing has been told, why again you should take up that particular subject? Then he says, there a doubt may arise. The two things are there. That's why he has told here, you see, drashta cha tittam cha. So, a seer is there and consciousness is there. Or the seer is there and the object is there. Two things will come. He says, no, they are not different. That is the conclusion. Now, the meaning of illustration is shown. What is the meaning of the illustration? Only one consciousness is there in the dream. So, what has to be illustrated through this illustration? That he is telling Charan. Charan jagarite jagradikshuvai dashasu sthitan andajan svedajan vapi jivan pashyati yan sada. Jagrat chittekshaniyaste na vidyante tata prutak tatha tad dushyameva idam jagratas chittamishyate. As you see in the dream, so also in the waking state. In all the 10 directions, he is seeing so many things. These things are not different from his consciousness. Same thing is proving. The man in the waking state, as he wanders in the places of waking state, always sees the creatures born from eggs or from moisture or existing in all the 10 directions. These creatures, perceptible to the consciousness of the man in the waking state, have no existence apart from his consciousness. So also, this consciousness of the man in the waking state is admitted to be the object of perception to that man of the waking state alone. Waking state is admitted to be the object of perception to that man of waking state alone, but the object is not there. So, taking the support of Vedanta Paribhasha, Dharmaraj Durendra, previously I gave an illustration, many times we have repeated that. How to know that only one consciousness is there? You have told, all right, taking the dream as an illustration, but this Dharmaraj Durendra, he gives another illustration that we heard many times. Just I wanted to remind you, there is a pond, and from the pond a canal is there and field is there. So you wanted to bring the water of the pond into the field. That's why you have dug a canal. And what is there in the pond? Water. What is there in the canal? What is there in the field? Water, water, water. So, inside only consciousness. That coming through is also consciousness. That which you are seeing also is consciousness. Arey, but I don't see the consciousness. I see the part. Yes, because you have superimposed the name and form on that consciousness. See? So, only consciousness, consciousness, consciousness. That is telling here. Even
I'm having a question about the Vedanta also. No, mind, I don't worry. So, the author, he belongs to the Vivarna school.
the
Author, Vivarna school. The author, he belongs to the Vivarnavada.
Vivarana school.
And the logic that is being taught in that book, this is Navanyaya.
Yes.
But it is a fundamental text that is studied within the school of Advaita Vedanta. My question is, Swamiji, how much the classical Nyaya is used by comparison to the Navanyaya?
In some of the places, because Lord Shankaracharya says, the logic is not having a base. That is, somebody puts some logic, and another intelligent fellow comes And he refused that. So, there is a lot of difference between the Navya Nyaya and other Nyayas. Huh? Prachina Nyaya. But even after this, that means that what Dharmaraj Dhurendra told, that the authors of logic who came after him, they don't accept. So, the Prachina Nyaya and Navya Nyaya, though it is in most of the places it is equal, but it differs in some places because it is only a mental vibration, not vibration of consciousness. They go only with the mind, behind the mind. So there may be differences, but even the Dharmaraj Dhirendra, I think, he was refuted by his own son. Something goes like this. Because he was also a follower of logic. But you see, as Gaudapada says, or even Shankara also says, only one cause is there. Whatever you talk about the effect, that naturally differs. So what I feel is, though I have not studied the logic thoroughly, there is some difference between the Prachina Nyaya and the Navya Nyaya, and in some places, though both of them are the followers of logic, they differ in their points. But the question is not still clear to me.
Which Nyaya is used more, Prachina Nyaya or Navya Nyaya?
No, that Navya Nyaya is the base. But because again and again they are improving the logic, they take the support of the Navya Nyaya also. But main thing is, I don't know the differences. Because we study all the old logic books. That is, what is that? Uh,
The new ones, Tarkasangra, Nyaya Siddhant Muktavali, these are
Nyaya
based on
Siddhant Muktavali with Dinakari.
Yeah, but these are based on Navya Nyaya. Prachina Nyaya is Gautama Sutra, Jaimini Sutras. These are the Prachina Nyaya which we have not studied.
Oh,
What we have studied is Navya Nyaya, Tarkasangraha, Nyaya Siddhanta Muktavali. These are the Navya Nyayas. So mostly in today's world, we are studying Navya Nyaya, Gangesh Upadhyaya.
Ganga
So
Sapadhyaya.
these are all Navya Nyaya.
Oh, but we don't know what this
Prachina Nyaya, we are not familiar with it.
this.
Those are
So,
written as a aphorism like Brahma Sutras. There are Gautama Sutras, Jaimini Sutras. Those are the Prachina Nyayas.
no, Jaimini Sutras comes to the Purum
Yeah,
Mamsa.
but Gautama Sutras.
Gautam Sutras. We have not studied, so we don't know the difference. But if we ask our pontiff, he immediately gives the reply. What is told in the old, what is told in the... Because whenever I get a doubt, just I goes to him. Immediately says, first he tells where it has come. What is its meaning? He immediately tells. Oh, he is, of course, but...
Only apart from Brahma Sutra, some places where Adi Shankaracharya refutes the Prachina Nyaya, the old Nyaya, the old logic system, it's not much used even in Bhashyas, the old system. Whatever is being refuted is the new system of Nyaya in Bhashya.
So, that is Prachina Nyaya when we don't know what to tell of it. All these days it is all in aphorisms and they have not taught us also. The teachers must have read.
No, but in Brahma Sutra,
Mm.
the Bhashikara says, Iti Gautamaha.
Iti Gautama.
So that is Prachina Nyaya. So
Prachina.
he refutes them in Brahma.
Question. The author of Tarka Sangraha,
Huh?
the author of
Ah,
Tarka Sangraha,
ah.
is it Mandana Mishra, the author?
No,
No, no, no.
This is very recent in
Listen.
16th, 17th century.
17th century.
Amarendra Singh or something.
Amarendra Singh, Nabhinyaya, Tarka Sangra.
Dr. Sangha.
And Nyaya Siddhanta Muktavali, two commentaries are there, Dinakari and another thing that who wrote?
We'll see later.
You are here, the mobile library.
But you continue, I'll inform you.
And the another commentary is there on this Nyaya Siddhanta Muktavali by a Bengali author. He also writes very nicely, but he never accepts any other school of thought. That is the difficulty with him. They are rather to say, they are devoted to their school of thought, their doctrine. So here he says, these creatures perceptible to the consciousness of the man in the waking state have no existence apart from his consciousness. So also this consciousness of the man in the waking state is admitted to be the object of perception to that man of waking state alone. So the objects are not different from the seer, maybe in waking state or maybe in dream. The creatures that are visible to the man in waking state are not different from his consciousness. That's why I gave the illustration of Dharmaraja Dhirendra. He says, everything is only consciousness, 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 but we have just superimposed an object on the consciousness and we see. But one of our teachers told, you see, you say a rope and a snake on the rope. But according to Dharmaraj Dhirendra, snake is an appearance, it is superimposed, but rope also is superimposed on the consciousness. First you have superimposed the rope, then you are superimposing the snake, he says. So, the appearance, according to the Dharmaraj Dhirendra, that everything is only an appearance. Then only we can conclude the concepts are equal. The Gaudapada, what he says, same thing our Dharmaraj Dhirendra has told. Because he says, here he says, the objects are not different from the consciousness. And there he says, only consciousness is there and the objects you are superimposing. So, but if you take as it is what Dharmaraj Dhirendra says, it is an illusion and you have seen an object on the consciousness, then a doubt may arise that two things are there. One is consciousness and a superimposed thing. Though you say the thing is not there, so a doubt may arise. That's why here the Gaudapada says, no different objects, no superimposed, nothing. Only consciousness and consciousness alone. That we have to conclude. That's why he says, inasmuch they are seen through consciousness, as is the case with the creatures seen by the consciousness of the dreamer. And that consciousness that observes the creatures is not different from the experience, since it is observed by the experiencer. As is the case with the consciousness in the dream state, so also in the waking state. The rest has been explained already in 65 and 66, he says. In this very chapter, the 65 and 66 are already explained, he says. That is, only the consciousness is there. You may take it as a dreamer or a seed of waking state. Then another difficulty will come. See, you are telling only consciousness is there. And again, what you are telling, a dreamer. Here you are telling consciousness alone is there. Again is seed. Where the seed has come from the consciousness? Where the dreamer has come? That's why he says they are not different. The consciousness and the dreamer, or the consciousness and the seed of the waking state, it is one only, they are not different. No superimposition also, it is only one. Simply we take the name because of the states. So what we have to conclude? Only consciousness is there. Chaitanyam, Chaitanyam, Chaitanyam.
భాషా పరిచ్ఛేద అది ఆయన సోపగీతం అంటే ఆయన స్వయమే రాశారు.
ఎవరు?
విశ్వనాథ్ పంచానంద్.
అచ్చా, లేదు న్యాయ సిద్ధాంత ముక్తాలు ఎవరు సార్?
న్యాయ సిద్ధాంత ముక్తాలు సార్.
అచ్చా.
Another commentary which is called భాషా పరిచ్ఛేద. It was written by విశ్వనాథ్ పంచానంద్.
విశ్వనాథ్ పంచానంద్ మిశ్రా.
There's a correction here, Swamiji, in 516 page, Sanskrit, 65-66 Sanskrit commentary, second line. Tatcha jivekshanatmakam chittam na tat drashtrut avyatirikam.
Oh, na is omitted.
Na tad.
Not tad.
We are done. After chittam, before drashtu. Na tad.
Now further he is telling, see, again the opponent is coming. He says, I know the part. Because of this knowledge, the logic which you have given, that only consciousness is there, both in dream state and waking state, is not correct. I am having the experience, I am seeing the part. That's what opponent says. Logics you have given are refuted. The reasons are not correct. He says, the reasons that you have given, inasmuch they are seen through consciousness, since it is observed by the experiencer, two reasons you gave. The reasons to conclude that consciousness alone is there is not correct. Because I see the part. I am seeing the part. But what you have given, only consciousness is there. And you gave two reasons, hetu. One, inasmuch as they are seen through consciousness, and since it is observed by the experiencer, experiencer is not different from the consciousness. And what is seen through consciousness is not different from the consciousness. This I don't accept. Who says? The opponent. Because I see the part, I am experiencing the part. Again, he brought whole thing to the relative. Then he says, Ubhehi anyonya drishye te kim tadasti iti nochete lakshana sunyam ubhayam tanmate naiva grihyate. See, here he says, anyonya drishye te kim tadasti iti nochete. What you say, that two things are there. I am the seer, I am seeing the part. For the wise, for the realized persons, for the man of knowledge, there are no two things. Viveki. Ubhehi anyonya drishye te kim tadasti iti nochyate. That means you are telling a subject and an object. I am seeing the part. But for the wise, there is no distinction like this. Number 1 point. Lakshana sunyam ubhayam. If you say who is the subject and what is the object, for then we cannot define it. When we say only consciousness alone is there, if you differentiate as subject and object, we say only subject is there, consciousness alone is there. That cannot be defined. Mind cannot go there, speech cannot go there, it cannot be defined. First thing, the wise people say there are no two things. And what we say, the consciousness cannot be defined. Then, tanmate neva grihyate. Because you are a dualist. See how he is telling. Because you are a dualist, you are seeing. That is from your side you are seeing. But from our side, only one thing is there. That is explaining. Both these are perceptible to each other. Does it exist? To such a question, no. Is said by the way of answer. Both these are devoid of valid proof. The seer and the seen, no valid proof. And each can be perceived only through the idea of others. Because you are seeing, for you it is there. Because we are not seeing, for us it is not there. Both creatures and consciousness, that is awareness and its objects, awareness means consciousness and objects, are perceptible to each other, are the objects of perception to each other. He says each other. Each other in the sense, awareness is there and objects are there. Awareness exists only in relation to the objects. Now, he says the subject and the object. Who is the subject? Who is seeing? Consciousness. No doubt about it. The consciousness is seeing the mind in the dream. So also, who is seeing the object? A subject. Subject is consciousness. You cannot prove the subject, what it is undefinable. When it is not defined, how can you say an object is there, that it is seeing? They are interdependent, anyonyashaya. First you prove one thing, then you can prove the other thing. In relative plane you can tell. But we are telling only consciousness alone is there, as in the dream. That means, first you cannot prove the subject. But you are seeing. You are the seer. You see the dream objects, they are not there. So also, in the waking state also we say, you are the seer only. Because it cannot be defined. What is consciousness? You say it is a seer. You say it is superimposed on that. You say dreamer, superimposed. In waking state, is this perceiver, superimposed. First you tell me, that's why whenever you go to Ramana Maharshi, says, you just understand the seer. Bas. Who can define that? When he becomes one with that, he cannot come out. When he is not in that, merged, he cannot define. But it is existing. It is existing, that is proved by your own existence. So here he says, no doubt you accept, that is your will. You are a dualist. We are not worried. Because we say, you cannot define this consciousness, what it is. When you define the consciousness, then you can say, it is seeing an object. When you prove that, then you can prove this. Without the observer, you cannot prove an object. So, awareness exists only in relation to the objects, such as the creatures and the like, and the creatures and the rest exist in relation to awareness. Hence, they are both objects of perception to each other. If object is there, then subject is there. If subject is there, then object is there. First you prove one thing. You say subject, object is there. Who is seeing? The subject. What is the subject? But you are failed. You cannot define. That's why he says, therefore, when the question, does it exist? It is asserted by those endowed with discrimination by way of answer, nothing whatsoever exists, either awareness or the object coming within the awareness. So, he says, the object coming within the awareness is not there. In dream, neither an elephant nor an awareness that includes the elephant exists. Same is the case here in waking state, as far as the discriminating men are concerned. So, discriminating. Again comes Viveka. When you discriminate, only one consciousness is there, that is myself. So don't talk, keep mum, and go and experience. That is Vedanta. If you say, the moment you open your mouth, you are in duality, you will be caught. Then somebody will come, what is object, what is subject? You have to unnecessarily break your head, making him understand. So what is the best thing? Just keep quiet, go and meditate and experience. Manana nididhyasana bas. Then he says, how? Inasmuch as both awareness and the objects coming within awareness are devoid of any valid proof, there is no proof that by which a thing could be distinguished, a definition, lakshana, proof, there is want of proof in them. Each of them is perceived only through the idea of the other. They are interdependent. One cannot have any knowledge of a jar by abandoning the idea of the jar. Nor is the apprehension of the idea of the jar possible by abandoning the jar. It is not possible to attribute in the present context any distinction to one of being the knowledge and the other being the object of knowledge. No distinction. When only one consciousness is there, no distinction. For this, sub-commentary is there that we are taking now slowly. For this sub-commentary, this he says, because there is no proof, you cannot prove the subject. Until and unless you prove the subject, object will not be there. And you cannot prove the object in the beginning without the subject. You told, I am seeing the pot. You never say pot is seeing me. How can you bring the object in the beginning? So you say, I am seeing the pot. So I is there. First prove what is this I. How you define it? Give me a proof. No proof for the I. Must gone. You are failed. If you...
He about sadhana chatushtaya,
Ah.
and we speak about viveka.
Mm.
We say the viveka is between nitya and anitya, permanent and ephemeral. So ephemeral is easy. If it's changing, it's ephemeral. But then how do we determine the nitya?
That is why in the beginning he told, now before the experience of the reality, you say that world is there, objects are there. That's why the Shastra says, first superimpose, then you negate everything. How the superimposition has taken place? It is because of the elements, 5 elements, everything is superimposed. And taking the illustration of the dream, you say they are not there. In the waking state, the seer alone is there. But that you cannot define. That is main trouble, difficulty is how to experience that I. That is why he says, previously also I told, the opponent asks, you see, the mind is an inert matter and Atman is consciousness. How the inert matter can experience the consciousness? That was the question put by the opponent in the 18th chapter of Gita. Then he says, the pure mind is not different from the consciousness. It becomes one with it, it experiences. Even now also you are experiencing, I am existing. So, then you will be experiencing, besides you nothing is there. That what he says. But now, here, when you negate whatever is there, because whatever you see in the dream or in the waking state, it is made up of 5 elements, that's why neti neti. So, but the negator is existing. What is the proof? Neti neti, who is telling? Somebody must tell. He is existing. That existence is not different from the Brahman. So, in a general way, you came to the conclusion that I am existing. So, I negate everything. My existence is there. When you experience that consciousness, then you will be telling this whole world is not different from me. It is my own consciousness. I am seeing like this. So, there he has given the proof. This is all right. We are seeing the light in the dream, and again we say only consciousness alone experiences. But how to conclude? After negating everything, the negator, I is existing. That I, the existing I is no other than Brahman when you experience Brahman. When you understand, when you experience, then the whole world is not there. I am the expansive consciousness which is called Brahman, and other things are superimposed. That's why the very first Upanishad starts, cover everything with Brahman. Isavasimidagam sarvam. But it is the last lesson. After experiencing, then only you will be able to cover everything with consciousness or Ishvara. So, here, again and again, all the saints, they say that our own existence don't grow to any logic or proof. We are experiencing our existing nature. That itself is the proof for the existence of Brahman. And when actually we experience, when cleansing the mind, merging the mind, nothing besides that consciousness is there. That is all pervading. In that way you will experience.
Two things about the same subject.
Ah.
One is, I want just to clarify to myself, Swamiji said that what is described in the first mantra of the Ishavasya Upanishad is actually the last lesson. Because only after the direct experience of the pure consciousness,
We can cover everything with
only
consciousness.
then. The second thing is, Swamiji says that the pure mind is no different from the self. Then, when we speak about the Ishvara and the Jiva, we say Ishvara is Nirguna Brahman in association with Shuddha Sattva.
Suddha Sattva, Maya.
When we speak about the Jiva, we say Nirguna Brahman in association with
Malina Sattva.
When we say Shuddha Sattva, this is something that I need to clarify. Is the pure mind and Shuddha Sattva the same thing?
Suddha Sattva and the pure mind, because you have removed all the impurities. What you say, Malina Sattva is Jiva. When that Malina is removed, it is only Suddha. So, but here, when I told, after the experience, that is the last lesson, but then you should not make any differentiation between Ishvara and Brahman. Even in Brahma Sutra, many places, instead of Brahman, he uses the word Ishvara. Taking it granted that both are one. They are not different. So in the same way, here also, the pure mind, as all the saints say, and even Bhagavad Gita says, the pure mind is not different from the Brahman. That means it is Suddha Sattva only. And Suddha Sattva. Now the question comes, the Ishvara is having a cover, delusion, illusion. But the experience of Brahman, for him, the cover of ignorance also is not there, cover of Maya also is not there. So, you are going beyond Ishvara. So, when you say, Isavasimidagam sarvam, if it is the last lesson, that is only the consciousness everywhere. It has covered, it is in me, and I have covered everything with that. So, no two things are there, only one thing. That finally we will come to that.
Swamiji, last question on this subject. So, in order not to create in our mind the separation between Saguna Brahman, Ishvara, and Nirguna Brahman, but at the same time also not to create a separation between Ishvara and the Jiva as well, at that time we should apply Abheda Bodha Vakya.
Naturally. Aham Brahmasmi, I am Atma Brahma, Mahavakya. That's why they say, at least you have not realized, we do accept. But every day you have to do the japa of Mahavakya, they say, for some time. We, of course, here, that day, you have very correctly, you have given all the mantras to Shambhu. So, out of 5 mantras that are given to the sannyasin, one is the japa of Mahavakya. That is Hamsa Gayatri and other Gayatris and other things. So, that and there it is called Presha Mantra. One who hears the Presha Mantra, no, he has become sannyasi. No, that is, see, in Atur Sannyasa, they just give Presha Mantra, that means that's why Swamiji sends away all others. And at times he used to tell, you go and see if anybody is there. Night 2:30, by the side of the Ganges, in the cold season, he gives the initiation. 45 minutes in that cold water we have to stay. If it is an old man, he passes away in that cold. Such a cold is there. But even then he says, you just go around and see. If anybody is there, he should not hear this Presha Mantra. So, Presha Uchcharana Deva Sannyasi Bhavet, something, that word is there, I forgot. Now, the Abheda Vakyas, not only the Mahavakyas, Abheda Vakyas, so many things are there. And that's why our Tirthaji Maharaj, our teacher, used to say, you do something. You break the parts, you break the vessels, you tear off the cloths, but somehow or other, you take out the teeth, don't worry. But you should realize, he says. Do whatever thing you want. You beat your hands like this. Let one cell break, but you should realize. Ghatam bindyat, phatam chindyat. Some the sloka is there. He used to take that, and that means you meditate, reflect, and merge. So, we are going to the sub-commentary. He says, both these are perceptible to each other. Does it exist? You told, I am seeing the part. So, if you ask, does it exist? Then, no. Is said by the way of the answer, by the wise, by the realize. No two things are there. Both these are devoid of valid proof. First, you cannot prove an object. To prove an object, a subject is necessary. You cannot prove a subject. Without subject, there is no object. So, he simply says, these cannot be proved. Proved in the sense, you have to experience only. And each can be perceived only through the idea of other. So, he says, if you prove the seer, then you can prove what he sees. First, if you prove the subject, then you can see, you can prove what you are seeing. But in the beginning, subject itself is not having any valid proof. We are having, according to Dharmaraj Durendra, he says 6 valid proofs are there. Pratyaksha, Anumana, Upamana, Shabda, Upamiti, like this 6 he gives. all these valid proofs in the relative plane, when you are there, then only you can prove. First I comes, say direct perception. I am seeing the part. So I is first. What here he says, you want a valid proof. Agreed. At least say direct perception or inference. For that, what is necessary? First I should be proved. When the I is not proved, how can you say two things are there? Same thing in Khandana Khanda Kadya he says, Ishvaro nasti, Ishvara is not there. Immediately ask, knowingly you are refuting or unknowingly you are refuting. But there ends. In the same way, now I am seeing the part. Have you proved the eye? No. Then there is no part. Go home.
Regarding the question how it relates to the text, it's regarding to the assertion that we cannot define the subject.
Ah.
The reason that we cannot define the subject, it is because the subject is not perceivable.
It is both. It is beyond the mind. It is not an object to perceive, and it is only, it can be experienced. We cannot perceive an object as an object. That's why Yajnavalkya says, I cannot show Atman as I am showing a cow. This is the cow. I can catch the horn of a cow and I can say this is the cow. But like this I cannot define the Atman. Then all negations with negating, we say. Because, see, that day I gave an illustration. We go to, that is called what? Theater, cinema. What you call here? Cinema. So, a flashlight is there behind. No, light.
It is projecting it.
No, but in our side, first light, then projector, then film it comes. Only the projector, of course, the olden days it may be, the projector is just, the reel is moving. So, this in between the light and the reel, there is a lens. That's why it makes the film big and you can see there. So, what is there first? Light is there. And then lens is there. Then film is there. In the same way, first Atman is there. Then mind is there. Then the senses. Then the objects. It goes like this. But the objects cannot see the senses. Senses can understand the mind but cannot see the mind. Mind cannot see the Atman. If it wants to see, it goes and merges. So, this Atman is something like that, as the curtain on which we see the cinema. See, we see some houses are burning, somebody is shooting somebody, somebody is killing somebody. Oh, so many things we see, but curtain is as it is, not attached to any actions of the cinema. In the same way, the seer is not attached to anything that it sees. So, in the illustration he says, there is no snake on the rope. That's why we say that is only illustration. But here, eto vacho nivartante aprapya manasa saha. First he says, then again says, you see, drishyate tvagriya buddhya sukshmya sukshmadase. Drishyate means not perceiving. You can experience when the mind is sharpened, when it is concentrated, when you think of it. What do you think that you are already there? That you have merged? Then where will be the knower and the known and the knowing process will not be there. When you experience Atman, the Trinity is not there. That is why we say, nahi drashtur po na vidyate. So, there is no absence of the seer. He is seeing everything. It can never say fade or it cannot be destroyed. That is always there. That's why though Sri Ramakrishna gives the very old example. In olden days, for the railways, they used to show a green lamp. That is, on the track, when something junction comes, a man will be there, he will be showing a green lamp. So then when he sees the green lamp, it goes. Nowadays signals have come, so many things have come. That is a different thing. But the old green lamp, taking the illustration, Sri Ramakrishna says, you cannot see who is standing there and waving the lamp. How can you see a person? You know a person is there and he is waving the lamp. That's why train is passing. All things are correct. But if you want to see the face of the lamp holder, what you have to do? You have to turn the lamp towards his face, he says, not towards the train. That is avruta chakshuramrutattamichan. If you want to see the Atman, turn the mind and the senses, everything towards it and merge in it. So, it sees everything. It cannot be seen, but it can be experienced. That's all. The difference between the knower and the known are not established. What he says in the beginning? He says, the difference between the knower and the known are not established, so you cannot say our reasons are refuted. You see, the opponent says, I am seeing the part. So how can you say the knower and known are not there? First you prove it. Who is the known, which is the thing known and who is the knower? You have not so far you have given any proof or you have not established who is the knower. So, your argument is not correct. What we gave the argument that the seer and the seen are one. It is the vibration of the consciousness or the mind. You are seeing the objects. So, you cannot refute our argument. That he says. Why? The difference between the knower and the known are not established. This is from sub-commentary. So you cannot say our reasons are refuted, but the reasons for the knowledge, for existence of Atman, what are the reasons? You say, now I am seeing the part. So, the seeing an action is there. That you call knowledge. I am seeing the part, you are the subject, part is the object, and the process is there seeing. What you call it? Knowledge. Huh? You are having the knowledge. But reasons for the existence of the Atman, you have not shown. So you are not having the knowledge of the perceiving of the Atman. When you say the illustration, you say knowledge. All right, we do agree. But here, what you are seeing, are you seeing the Atman? No. So no knowledge is there of the Atman. Now, if you want to prove something, you should give proof because of mutual interdependence. You cannot give the proof. What you have to prove first? The self you have to prove, I. Then only you can prove the part. So far you are having the knowledge of, you are not having the knowledge of Atman. You have not proved that. Knowledge in the sense, you have not proved. ये कहाँ गया? किम तत्? किम तत्?
First para, last second line. Kim tadastiti vivekina uchyate. 517, first Sanskrit para, last second line. 517 page, first Sanskrit para, last second line. Chittam va chittekshaniyam va kim tadastiti vivekina uchyate.
Second line?
Last second line.
Last, अच्छा. हाँ. चित्तम वा चित्तीक्षणेयम वा किम तदस्ति इति विवेकिना उच्यते. किम तत्? But this kim tat is here in the sloka. Ubbehi anyonya drishyate te kim tad asti iti nochyate. Both these are perceptible to each other. Does it exist? No. Kim tat? No is said by the way of answer. Kim tat? Now, you are telling, I am seeing the part. Who is the seer? Kim tat? Who is the seer? Wise people, they say that nothing is there. The seer and the seen, the differentiation is not there. What is seen or seeing what? For discriminating persons, both are not there. That he says. So, what for a proof will be there? For that, you cannot give another proof, a different proof. Now you want to prove something. Say the Atman. You want to know by proof that what Atman is there. That is not proved. If you say, I will bring another proof for proving this, that is also not correct. Anavastha, ad infinitum, it goes. So, you cannot say a different proof is there for this. For the object and the seeing, for their nature, there is no proof. The object and the seer, for that, the seer is not proved. The seer is not established. The seer is Atman, but not the body. That's why in the very beginning, when you say I, there are two things. It is already superimposed. Mind is superimposed, then only you can say I. Now, You are telling, I am seeing the part. First you differentiate and you prove the I. What is this I? Then only. So he says, for the object and seeing an object and their nature, the seer, nature of the seer and the nature of the object, so far it has not been proved. For that there is no proof. Then he says, Lakshana Sunyam, why? No definition for that. You see, why you go up to the Atman? All right, Atman is a thing, it is existing, for that there is no proof. But what Lord Shankaracharya says, now you are seeing the silver on the mother pearl. Where from it has come? No proof. Khyativad we have already read. So, what Vedanti says, Anirvachaniya Khyati. If it is there, we should see. If it is not there, we should not see. So, but we see it. Where from it has come? Undefinable. When you cannot define the ignorance, when you cannot define the illusion, what to talk of Atman? That is still undefinable. So, there is no definition. Then, how the disputants take the support of proof? Now again he is asking. See, you are telling you cannot prove, but the disputants, the commentators, they write so many things and they take the support of the all types of proof. Direct perception, inference, upamiti, upamana, shabda, so many proofs they take. How is that? That again is putting a question. Then, how the disputants take the support of the proof and that is to be proved. They are taking the support of the proof. Pramana prameya. So, to prove something, they take. Because of the bad impressions of the object and seeing an object, they prove, he says. He says, the commentators or the disputants, they are having some bad impressions in their mind. See how he is putting, the sub-commentator. That is why they say this is the proof that has to be proved. The commentators and those who want to give proof, they are having some bad impressions in their mind as the object, and I am seeing the object.
Are you speaking about pramana in general?
Huh?
This is in general?
In general. Because pramana, that Dharmaraj Dhirendra says there are 6 types of pramana. Then the opponent asked how they talk about these proofs. Simply he is giving the answer. They are having some bad impressions in their mind as the object, and I am seeing the object. Because of that, they want to prove.
Perceiver and perceived. Drishya darshana samskara vashat.
Drishya darshan samskar vashat.
He refutes pramana.
He wanted to prove Atman. Pramana is in relative sense, but the proving of Atman is in the absolute sense. Only one thing is there. In the relative, everything is there. But we are not talking of the relative. The dreamer is there, the perceiver is there, what a thing perceived is there in the relative plane. But he is talking of the absolute plane. In the absolute plane, only one thing is there. Then only Ajatavada will come, is it not? How you prove non-duality? Nothing has born, only one thing is there. How will you go there? When you refute everything. At least we are having a glimpse. Then nothing is there in the relative plane. Only one thing is, it is non-dual. Bas. Nothing has been created. Tanmatena. You see, he says, from your side you are seeing. What are the bad impressions of your mind? The perceiver and the perceived. These things you are there in your mind. That's why you go behind the proof. Now, these, say, logicians, they never take the support of scripture. Before reading the scriptures, as an aspirant, when you leave home, do you know only one consciousness is there, nothing else is there? Only after reading the scriptures, taking the support of the scriptures, and taking the instructions of the master, just now we came to know that only one thing is there. But still, it has not come to experience. So, at least, janati yatate anubhavati. In Panchadasi, I think the words, I am little confused. These three things are there. Janati, yatate, anubhuyate. First he knows the thing in the mental level. Then he strives to know that. Then he realizes that. So, but still you are not making an effort to know what is real. You cannot prove this I. And you never take the support of the scriptures. How can you know? When the scriptures are clearly telling, why go up to scriptures? Take Bhagavad Gita. Aham Atma Gudagere Sarvabhutashe Sthita. I am the Atman everywhere. And then, Kshetragim chapi mam vidhi. I am not different from your soul. Kshetragyam chapi mam vidhi. Mam, the self. You know, I am in you. You are not different from me. So, if they don't want to accept, whose is the mistake? It is your mistake. That's why simply we say, you are having some impurities in your mind. Simply he is giving, scolding them, all the opponents. Then he says, Jiva chitte ubhe chitta chetyeta anyonya drishye itaretara gamye. Both the creatures and the consciousness. Creatures, all the individuals. Consciousness is Chaitanya. Chitta Chaitanya. Chitta Chaitya, yes. These are the words actually he has taken from Buddhists. That's why what the Buddhists they say, yeah, Chitta is there. They say some stupa. You go around it, you will realize. Chaitya bandhana, something they say. Something stupa is there. You go around, chant the name, you will realize. So, the Chitta and Chaitya, Chaitya bandhana, something they say that actually I forgot. So, this Chitta and Chaitya, that is, in this particular context, it is the subject and object. So, He says creature and consciousness, or awareness and its object, are the perceiver and the perceptible, are perceptible to each other, are the objects of perception to each other. Jiva chitte ubhe chitta chete te anyonya drishye itaretara gamye. So they are interdependent. If you prove one, then only you can prove other. If you cannot prove one, you cannot prove the other. If you say, no, I am seeing the part, all right, you see the part, you always see the part, you be with the part, no? Or else you enter into the part, we are not worried. We say you have not proved the I. That's why we say only one consciousness. No, I don't accept, don't accept. Who is forcing you to accept? That is called jiva. Jiva chitte vishay vishayini anyonya drishyatvam anyonya grahyatvam. It says the perceiver and perceived are there, perceptible to each other. That is explained. Again say, jiva vishayapeksham chittam nama bhavati. That is, awareness exists only in the relation to the objects such as creatures and the like, and the creatures and the rest exists in relation to the awareness. When the awareness is proved, then you can prove the creatures. If you prove the creatures, then awareness. Though they are the interdependent, he says. The rest we will do afterwards. Sub-commentary is there, long. Swami.
Okay, on the last subject
Yeah.
that was described, Swami said that the sub-commentator writes that due to mental defilements,
Impurity.
impurities of the mind, the disputants, the people that dispute or debate, first of all, they have the perception of subject and object because
Yes.
of the impurities
Ah.
of the mind. And then, because they have such a perception, also there comes the question of what can be proved or what
What
cannot
are to be proved?
Now, is it possible that what the commentators brings up is due to the fact that in the case of most of the people that are not yet realized, those defilements are there.
Yes, yes.
So then, because the defilements are there, because there is a perception of subject and object, there is a need of the six proofs
Yes.
in order to negate. So, but, or even in order to come to the conclusion that it is impossible to prove the subject.
Subject.
Therefore, it's impossible to prove the object. So it seems as it is a statement of fact. That
Yes. Gaudapada is doctrine is ajata. So that's why in the middle one fellow came and asked, if you say don't know, no subject, no object, and how Vyasa wrote, Janmadhyasyata, he wrote, you see, he is writing for the undiscriminating people. We are telling for the discriminating people who can discriminate completely and come to the conclusion to the oneness. So, and again he gave an illustration. A man is there, he is seeing only the rope. He is not seeing the snake. But he says to other, you see, here only snake is not there, rope is there, you come and see. That fellow don't want to see. He says, I am seeing the snake, that's why he runs away. But the statement is correct, that there is no snake on the rope. Statement is correct. In the same way, my statement is correct. Only one consciousness is there. But everybody cannot come to this conclusion. Everybody is not in a position to experience it. That's why even Lord Shankara or Vyasa, they come down to the relative plane and they first they prove that creation is there and then they negate the creation just to tell what has entered into the creatures is no other than Brahman. So you are Brahman, you realize. Like that. That's why otherwise we need not read commentaries. Only one thing is there. But he says, you see, Mandyukyamevalam, Mandyukyameva ekalam, mumukshuna vimuktaye. If you want to have the realization, this one book alone is sufficient. But for the persons who are having the highest discrimination only, will come to this conclusion that only one consciousness is there and nothing is there. Even if you say the world is illusory, that also they don't accept. Why? Because ajata, nothing has been created. That's why he says, no liberation, no bondage, no sadhaka, no aspirant. Just he removes everything. He wanted to prove that Ajatavada. That's why Mukti Upanishad is told, see, this Hanuman asks Rama, what is the way for realization? Then Rama starts. One Upanishad is sufficient. Mandukyamevalam, mumukshunam vimuktaye. That alone is sufficient. But everybody cannot read it, everybody cannot understand it, even after reading. So they have to go to the other commentaries. Something. ఇది ఎలా గుర్తుపట్టేది? That's why you see, it may be the will of God, whatever it may be, we don't know. I wanted to go in detail. Now only after coming here I started telling you the sub-commentary. But before coming here, I have not decided to tell the sub-commentary. But even then I thought, 250 slokas are there and it is such a voluminous. That's why in the last year itself I told, at least we need 2 months. And after coming here, instead of 1.5 hours, we have made it to 3 hours and 15 minutes. Then somehow we can manage to finish. It is all grace of the God.